Well, a lot of my ideal clients bang their head on the keyboard every morning because they hear, you know what, you're supposed to post 3 times a day on all the different social platforms. And by the way, you got to make sure you send an email newsletter this week. And oh, you should have a blog too. And oh, yeah, how about some YouTube videos? And they're overwhelmed by it all.
Welcome to the Goalbusters Expert Peak Productivity Tips podcast, where top business experts get just 7 minutes to answer 5 rapid-fire questions about what they do and how they stay productive.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Robin J. Emden and I'm an accountability coach and the author of Get Resultsology, The Science of Getting Stuff Done. I work with people who run their own business. No boss, distractions everywhere and never enough hours in the day. Together we cut through the noise, sharpen their focus and follow through on the big ideas that actually move the needle. That's what I call the momentum formula. Do it today, profit tomorrow, and repeat. So if that sounds like the kind of breakthrough that you've been looking for, then you're in exactly the right place. And speaking of being in exactly the right place, I am delighted to welcome our guest expert today, Jon Goehring. Jon is an award-winning podcast producer, voiceover artist, and founder of Story Trust Media. Jon helps coaches, authors, non-profits and personal brands turn their story into authority through strategic podcasting and audio content. With a master's from Syracuse's Newhouse School, Jon combines storytelling and production to build content engines that grow audiences and make messages impossible to ignore. Wow, I love that. Jon, welcome to Goalbusters.
Robin, thank you. I'm excited to be here and especially the energy that you bring. I'm excited to have this conversation with you today.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. I make no extra charge for that. Whereabouts in the world are you, Jon?
Upstate New York. So I am in a place, a little city called Rochester. So we're got a little body of water in between us, a little pond that's dividing us. But this part of the world is beautiful, much like your part of the world as
Yeah.
well.
Why am I thinking of cheesecake? I don't know. I shouldn't go there. New York cheesecake.
Cheesecake. Yeah, well, we're not in New York City. People, oh, New York,
Yeah, New
Times
York
Square.
is. Yeah, you see. Yeah, no, you see. I know nothing. I know nothing. I realize. Yeah, New York is huge, and it's not just
It's
a
big,
city.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, having shown my ignorance, and probably I'm just hungry. That's why I wanted cheesecake. Really.
What's wrong with
Shall we
that?
do the questions instead?
I can't wait. I'm ready.
All right, let's get the clock up on the screen, and there it goes. Jon, could you tell me, please, who is your ideal client?
Ideal client is either a coach, a consultant, or a nonprofit organization who does something that requires what I'd call high trust transaction. High trust transaction are those transactions where you need to really trust the individual that you're buying from, or in the case of a nonprofit, donating to. So that's why I love working with those nonprofits and those coaches, because they're sharing their stories, they're sharing their expertise, and that's what builds trust with their audience. And we do that through the power of podcasting and content creation.
Fantastic. That's very clear. All right. So, what exactly is the problem or problems that you solve for your ideal clients?
Well, a lot of my ideal clients bang their head on the keyboard every morning because they hear, you know what, you're supposed to post 3 times a day on all the different social platforms. And by the way, you got to make sure you send an email newsletter this week. And oh, you should have a blog too. And oh, yeah, how about some YouTube videos? And they're overwhelmed by it all. The problem that we solve is, we allow them to have that content through the power of podcasting, which is what we call a content creation engine. So now recording their podcast fuels all of that other content, and we help them with that. So if you're in that position where you're like, I'm overwhelmed, I need to be focused on running my business or running my organization, and I don't have time to produce all this content so that I can stay top of mind on the internet, that's the problem that we solve.
Oh, excellent. All right, that's very clear as well. So I don't need to ask you any more questions on that. Well, not right now, anyway. Maybe in an hour or two's conversation after. But what is one valuable free action that the audience can implement that will help them to move at least some way towards solving these problems for themselves?
Starting a podcast is free, and that's the beauty of it. And people say, well, Jon, you sell podcast startup products and things like that. Yes, I do, but I also realize that that's for people who don't have the time to start one themselves, or they don't have the expertise, so they don't want to. So that's what people like me are here for. But if you're looking to expand your authority, create more content, and you have the time and expertise to do that on your own, great, more power to you. I encourage you to start a podcast. It's as easy as starting up an RSS feed, a YouTube channel, creating some content by, reaching out to people. You could reach out to people halfway across the world, like Robin, reach out to me. So having people in your niche who's going to be able to provide value to your audience and speak to the problem that you solve will make you a go-to authority in your niche, and it will help you fuel all of those channels and that content that you're so overwhelmed because you can't keep up with posting that much. So start a podcast and then take that podcast, take some video clips from it to repurpose as video content, because that's so huge on these channels. Is having video content now is actually produces 10 times more engagement. Some recent studies have found over static or text content on social media platforms. And then you can also use the topics of that podcast episode and the transcript to help you develop a blog post and an email newsletter. Now you can be in all those different places that you're supposed to be in without creating individualized content for each of them. It can each flow from a podcast that you do to build your authority and ultimately create that trust relationship with your target audience.
Yeah, so from a simple start for a podcast, you create a sort of a factory like production line of content that's just really easy once you've started doing it. All
That's
right, so
right.
now that we have a better understanding of what you do, well, a little bit of a better understanding, I've only given you 3 minutes, that's my fault, not yours. Let's dive briefly into goal busting, which is focusing on how to maximize productive time to achieve your business goals. Jon, could you share any tips or advice looking for someone who simply wants to improve their productivity habits, please?
Batching. That's the one piece of advice I can give. Podcast episodes, people say, well, I still don't have time to take all this time every week and do, podcast episodes and record these and edit these. The power of batching is so powerful. So in my world in podcasting, it's sitting down maybe once a month, maybe even in my case, it's once a quarter for my personal podcast, hammering out however many episodes you want to at that time, scheduling them out, creating the content from them. You mentioned, Robin, like the assembly line. You build momentum when you're doing the same task over and over and over again. So instead of record, edit, produce, repurpose, it's record, 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 edit, 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 edit. That's what I've found to be the most valuable formula. So obviously that's just in the podcasting world. If you're listening or watching and you're not a podcaster at all and you're still looking to take a tip away from this, my tip for you would be to batch whatever tasks that you have that are in the same category into one, workflow. So take an hour, put it on your calendar, and that's a non-negotiable hour to just do this. Just respond to your email. I have 2 15-minute blocks on my calendar every day. Email responding. I go through and I respond to my email. You probably won't get a response to an email if you send it to me in the middle of the day until the end of the day when my next calendar reminder is to respond to email. Batch your time. That increases your productivity.
Yeah, fantastic. Very solid piece of advice there. And two for the price of one as well. We like that. 2 for 1
There you
is
go.
always a good offer. So, Jon, what should I have asked you today that I didn't? And what would your answer be, please?
Why do you do what you do? So what? Podcasting. Do we really need to add more voices to the world of saturated content? You're just literally throwing stuff out there, throwing some spaghetti at the wall, making people angry, getting them fired up. Why I do what I do is not to add more noise to the world. But we call it story trust media because I believe that telling your story can build your audience's trust. And what we're lacking in our world today, many things, but the one thing that it really comes down to, in my opinion, is trust. We don't trust each other anymore. If you're a different color skin than me, I don't trust you for that reason. If you're from England, I don't trust you.
None
America,
taken.
1776, we broke free from you guys. We still don't trust you, right?
Yeah, how's that working out?
Yeah, tell me about it. So it's an epidemic of lost trust. And that's why I do what I do, to help people build trust with their audience, that they can drive results. And ultimately, deliver more positive messages in the world, because that's what we're in desperate need of.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you, and ignore my teasing there. I'm just
You're
being
not
fussy.
wrong, though.
Yeah, but we're not going there. We're not going there.
No,
All
we don't
right.
need to go there.
We don't need to go there. Okay. John, thank you. That was absolutely brilliant. I was really looking forward to today's podcast with you, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's everything I expected and more. And I still have one more question to ask you at this point, so that everybody else that's enjoyed it can find out, A, how can they reach you? How can they contact you to find out more about what you do? And speaking of finding out about what you do, is there like a valuable free resource they could get from you as well? Because that's a brilliant way of finding out about what you do. And then they can get in touch.
Sure. Storytrust.media is the place to go. Storytrust.media is the website. You can learn more about, creating your entire content creation engine. You can learn more about what we do at Storytrust Media to help you if you're looking for help in that area. Storytrust.media/podcast is where you can get a free private podcast that I've done. I've done, 5 different lessons for you if you want to start your podcast from scratch. 5 different podcast-based lessons for you that are really important, from identifying your target audience and your niche, all the way to hitting publish on that first episode and being able to have that piece of content that you can share with the world, that builds your authority, builds trust with your audience. That, again, is storytrust.media/podcast. You can download that free private podcast and stay in touch if you're looking for more assistance in that area.
Oh, absolutely. Sounds brilliant. Thank you so much. Jon Goehring, thank you so much for appearing on Goalbusters today. It has been a delight and a profound experience for me. So much information you've packed in there. Absolutely wonderful.
Robin, it's been an honor. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. And remember, everybody, keep goal busting and make your future self proud. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Goalbusters. If you're enjoying it, please subscribe, rate and review it on your favourite podcast platform. Your support is very much appreciated. And if you're ready to boost your online profits, skyrocket your productivity, crush procrastination and see a positive change in your bank balance, all within just 30 days, this is your opportunity. Take my free 5-day challenge at www.skyrocketyourproductivitychallenge.com.